He who has peace of mind disturbs neither himself nor another. The wise man who has become accustomed to necessities knows better how to share with others than how to take from them. The just man is most free from disturbance, while the unjust man is full of the utmost disturbance. The mind that is anxious about the future is miserable. The time when most of you should withdraw into yourself is when you are forced to be in a crowd. Of all the things that wisdom provides to make us entirely happy, the greatest is the possession of friendship. It is not so much our friends' help that helps us, as the confidence of their help. Death is nothing to us, for the body, when it has been resolved into its elements, has no feeling, and that which has no feeling is nothing to us. The greatest fruit of self-sufficiency is freedom. Don't fear God, don't worry about death. What is good is easy to get, and what is terrible is easy to endure. Of all the means which wisdom acquires to ensure happiness throughout the whole of life, by far the most important is the possession of friendship. Death does not concern us, because as long as we exist, death is not here. And when it does come, we no longer exist. Death is nothing to us, for that which is dissolved is without sensation, and that which lacks sensation is nothing to us. If you wish to make Pythagoras wealthy, do not give him more money, rather, diminish his desires. It is better for you to be free of fear lying upon a pallet, than to have a golden couch and a rich table and be full of trouble. Not what we have but what we enjoy constitutes our abundance. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. Pleasure is the beginning and the end of living happily. Of all the things which wisdom provides to make us entirely happy, much the greatest is the possession of friendship. There is no such thing as justice in the abstract, it is merely a compact between men. Satiety is the cause of all evil. Natural justice is a pledge of reciprocal benefit, to prevent one man from harming or being harmed by another. It is impossible to live a pleasant life without living wisely and well and justly. Let us completely banish from our lives fear, which is an evil belonging to the future. Let no one be slow to seek wisdom when he is young, nor weary in the search of it when he has grown old. Do not say that something is impossible for you to achieve, for it is impossible for you to not achieve what you will. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. The key to happiness is not to have what you want, but to want what you have. Be moderate in order to taste the joys of life in abundance. Of all the things wisdom provides to help one live one's entire life in happiness, the greatest by far is friendship. The wise man thinks about his own death least of all things, and his wisdom is a meditation not on death but on life. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Nothing is enough for the man to whom enough is too little. If thou wilt make a man happy, add not unto his riches but take away from his desires. Injustice is not an evil in itself, but only in consequence of the fear which attaches to the apprehension of being discovered by those appointed to punish such actions. If the gods listened to the prayers of men, all humankind would quickly perish, since they constantly pray for many evils to befall one another. Short is the joy that guilty pleasure brings. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Of all the means to ensure happiness throughout the whole life, by far the most important is the acquisition of friends. To be able to endure hard work is the best way to prosper. If you wish to make Pythocles wealthy, do not give him more riches, but diminish his desires. The just man is most free from disturbance, while the unjust is full of the utmost disturbance. The man least often in his cups is the happiest. The noble soul occupies itself with wisdom and friendship. No pleasure is a bad thing in itself, but the things which produce certain pleasures entail disturbances many times greater than the pleasures themselves. The noble soul occupies itself with wisdom and friendship. Of these, the first is a mortal good, the second an immortal one. We are born once, and we cannot be born twice, but for all time must be dissipated into nothingness after a single life. Justice is a contract of expediency, entered upon to prevent men from harming or being harmed. The art of living well and the art of dying well are one. We do not so much need the help of our friends as the confidence of their help. No pleasure is in itself evil, but the things which produce certain pleasures entail annoyances many times greater than the pleasures themselves. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. The highest good is pleasure, the greatest evil is pain. If you live according to nature, you will never be poor. If you live according to opinion, you will never be rich. The key to happiness is not in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. You don't develop courage by being happy in your relationships every day. You develop it by surviving difficult times and challenging adversity. Let nothing be done in your life which will cause you fear if it becomes known to your neighbor. We must exercise ourselves in the things which bring happiness, since, if that be present, we have everything, and, if that be absent, all our actions are directed toward attaining it. Justice is a compact not to harm or be harmed. Death, therefore, the most awful of evils, is nothing to us, seeing that, when we are, death is not come, and, when death is come, we are not. The mind ought sometimes to be diverted that it may return to better thinking. Nothing is sufficient for the person who finds sufficiency too little. If you live according to nature, you never will be poor. If you live according to opinion, you never will be rich. A free life cannot acquire many possessions because this is not easy to do without servility to mobs or monarchs. What is good is easy to get, and what is terrible is easy to endure. It is not the young man who should be considered fortunate, but the old man who has lived well. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Not what we have, but what we enjoy, constitutes our abundance. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Death is nothing to us, since when we are, death has not come, and when death has come, we are not. The wealth required by nature is limited and is easy to procure, but the wealth required by vain ideals extends to infinity. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for. The misfortune of the wise is better than the prosperity of the fool. We should look for someone to eat and drink with before looking for something to eat and drink.